dealing with a 99 Lexus gs300. It's got the inline 6. Came in a few days ago before I wound up leaving for a few days, and it immediately when I started checking things, brought out the tow truck, it would crank but it would not start. So a rotate wasn't hitting and starting up. So everything sounded perfectly fine. Pulled the cover off, and it did sound like the cylinders were washed out. I will add, it did sound like they were flooded. So I suspected the timing belt was broke. That's why I wound up pulling the cover off. And it wasn't nothing but 2 fasteners holding in there. Pulled that off, put some little marks here on the timing belt in the cam, rotated it, everything turned. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's some cylinder wash. Big key thing here from a backstory, somebody already went through it and tried to do some repairs after the car was purchased. A couple days later, it screwed up. So naturally, when I hear that, everything was running fine when they got it, but somebody been through it previously. Well, just like me screwing up, well, I'm going to check over human error. When I'm looking around, one key thing that I saw, these connectors, they were frayed. The wires were right around here too. The wires are broken. I did not pull codes immediately because it was pretty blatant. I'm like, all right, I've dealt with this before, and I've had a video where the module will short out and shut down because a connector's broken. I added starter fluid in the intake, well, brake cleaner in the intake, and it started to hit. It got better. So kept on doing it, did a flood clear while trying to start it, and it got better. It progressively attempted to start up, and it eventually started up. I did pull the connector off, and I found this, and inevitably I'm just like, all right, these things shorted out, lost contact, something happened, caused a module to short, shut down, car flooded, never started since. So it was like some fuel wash. I know it may sound counterproductive, like, well, how was the fuel wash? Well, to take the next thing to consideration, the spark plugs. I pulled one of the plugs out and inspected that. The plugs, the bore was full of oil on one. That was the worst one. I did clean it out very well, so you're not gonna really see too much remnants. So while I had it out, I just went on ahead and cleaned it. So when we pull the plugs and replace them, I'll show you what they look like. So because of inefficient spark, I would assume because of the wiring, probably contacting ground, it caused some problems, and it inevitably, well, ultimately did not start. And again, it sounded like fuel wash or cylinder wash, where it's just overloaded with fuel. The spark plugs are horrible. It's got these dual tip platinum or dual tip copper or platinum, whatever I don't know what material they are, but I would imagine they're like copper because of how worn out the electrode is. And well, the plugs are horrible. So even though the person went through and replaced the valve cover gaskets, you can see the blue there between the valve cover and the cylinder head. You know, they didn't take the initiative to change the spark plugs too and clean all the oil out. Because what'll happen, these will leak oil, the valve cover, and it'll settle in this valley here and accumulate. But again, the biggest problem here is this wiring. This is what we're primarily going to address. So I do have new ignition coil connectors. See, look at that. Look at how that will just come in contact. It don't take much. The power shorts to ground, it ain't gonna start. Those wires come from this module here. It'll just shut that module down, cause all that commotion. And it sat for a while. And luckily I've been through this already. And literally within 40 minutes, less than 40 minutes, I already had it running. So it worked out. Yeah, I'll probably try to link that other video with the Lexus that I had to diagnose, but it was the V6 model that was having that issue, but it wound up being the connector. So we're gonna put new connectors on here and insulate it, put wire protectors on here, make it look decent. look a lot better than what it is, so we don't have to go through this anymore. And I don't think it shorted here. I just really think it wound up shorting around here. I mean, this just looks like that was the case. I did have a code for cylinder 1 igniter circuit, so that's where my money is. Long story short, it's back running. I'm gonna let you hear it start up, and we're gonna just pull the throttle body off and access the wiring, the ignition wires, replace the boots, replace the plugs, replace the ignition wires, and put everything back. Let's go from there. But let me let you hear it start up. I mean, it runs amazingly. I literally have the camera stand sitting on the intake and another foot sitting on the cold air intake, and the other part sitting on the light housing. The camera's not even vibrating. That's how smooth this engine is running right now. It's amazing. And it's for it to be a 99. Runs amazing now. So what I'm gonna do, let's shut it down. Let's get this portion of the throttle body off and gain access to those wires. See what it looks like, what we're up against, and get everything replaced, because this is gonna be a cut and dry job. I already got the intake hose loose and disconnected from just putting the cleaner in there. Just move that off to the side. This throttle body should be pretty clean of all the brake cleaner I sprayed in there. So unfortunately, as these cars get older, the connectors break. And these connectors are already, since somebody already been through it, the connectors are already broken. I wonder. Make my life a little easier. There's a couple bolts missing. Not a big deal. This is the bracket here, but this is a plastic portion of the throttle body spacer. So it is an integral component and should be reinforced. There's a bolt here, there's a bolt here. Logically, I mean, it's not going to stress out that spacer. So I'm going to remove those two, top and bottom, and I pull it out. Oh, it's finger tight. Well, you can tell whoever been through here didn't use the proper socket. Let me show you. Because the head of the bolt is kind of rounded out. Probably use a standard or metric. No big deal. This is the bracket. They only had 2 nuts here and 1 there. $12mm. One off. This gasket definitely can be replaced. And see if the parts store have one. I can't make any promises, but they do. It's flat. I guess I'm gonna have to take that spacer off. I need to get the ignition. Oh man. See how flat that gasket is. There's no protrusion. We'll see if I can replace these so we don't have any future problems or issues with the running condition, because it will make it lean. So here we are. Now you can see, oh shit. See, that just popped right on out. I did not even mean to do that. Oh wow. There's no connector here. They didn't have a connector. So this is definitely going to be our issue. There's no connector inside the coil. It was just bare. They were just sitting in there. So they were just sitting in there like so. So I wouldn't be surprised if they shorted out too. We just gotta, the wire's not sitting where it's supposed to. This is, I don't even feel insecure about not back testing anything. So it's pretty obvious. Let's see how this one looks. Yeah, see the insulation. Well, the divider's missing in inside of this one too, on all of them. So I'm gonna let these hang off to the side here. And, well, pull off, see what wiring we're dealing with. We're on one. This is a wasted spark setup. It has, so one coil operates two different cylinders. That's why it's called a wasted spark, because the sparks are going to another cylinder. So it fires, and it's just a waste. So one goes to 6. I could probably write it on the coil too. Wouldn't be a bad idea. So 2, and this one's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and 3. I think I can identify those. Now let's get these out of here. Let me show you how bad these plugs look. Well, we're gonna need a 10mm, and that's it. A 10mm and 5/8. Pull those out. I'm glad it fell all the way through. This is the 8 in the back. Got new boots. Look, yeah, these are new. I'm still gonna replace them anyway. See that one in the back's new. Clean everything while I got it out. See there, saturated in oil. I'm gonna replace them. This is 3 and 4. So we got leaves, we got a pool of oil. Oh, I need to. And then we got nuts and all sorts of miscellaneous stuff in here. I'm gonna vacuum it out first, and then hit it with some compressed air and then brake cleaner. Use that method. Well, just looking through this, I might have to pull the valve cover off because I'm kind of questioning the insulation that's inside here between the valve cover and the cylinder head, and that what that'll do, that'll cause some small hairline cracks, and that oil will over time escape and pull up that cavity there. So even though the plugs are old, I'm going to show you what they look like. I'm just going to have to pull this, go back over to guy work. I hate to do that, but that's what's going to have to happen, because if I don't, it's going to bite me in the ass, and it has happened too many times. So I'm going to pull the valve cover off, inspect the valve cover itself. If it's fine, put it back, go from there. So I just got to do the guy work over again. Then I got the, I don't know what they call the other portion of it. I'm gonna call it it's not a plenum, but then I got I guess the second half of the intake off. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the area right now with the brake cleaner in the valley and the valve cover, all that, so I wouldn't run the risk of dropping anything in it, some sort of dirt, debris in the motor. And then right now, at least we'll be able to see what the engine looks like inside when we pull the valve cover back off, and just make sure there's no pitting or ruptures, rips, tears, any sort of inconsistency, because I'm already kind of deep into it. If I put this back and it start leaking again, it's going to come back and bite me in the ass. So I'm just going to check over the guy work, call it a day. Let's pull it off. So let me show you what happened. Let me show you what would have happened if I would have left that piece in there. It would have started leaking again, and I would have been back in the same boat. You see that? That's where I was picking away the insulation, and that's where it was wedged between the cylinder head and the valve cover. So what it'll do, it'll leak right those edges, and we'll be right back pulling this stuff off, doing it right next time. I'm gonna have to pull off the other side too, make sure that's not the same case, but it was pretty blatant with that one. I'm glad I saw it when I was cleaning the area up, so that's why it's important to have a good clean area. I'm not gonna talk crap about the guy because I'm not gonna act like I have never made any mistakes in my life, and trust me, I have. So what I want to do is inspect the valve cover itself and make sure I don't have to reuse. I can reuse this, or if I have to buy another one. So it was in this area here. Make sure there's no abnormal flat spots. I think we're in good shape. So we can reuse this gasket. I'm going to remove this piece here. That was going to put us in a bad situation, and keep on with this repair. I mean, it's crazy how something so small, like just focus, something so small can cause so much problems, so many complications. And I got stories. You know, like I said, that's why I'm not gonna talk junk about the guy. I've rushed before and did jobs, and this thing here, insulation, have screwed me over to where I have to go back and do the job again. Even though you can triple check yourself, that's kind of pretty obvious that the guy didn't check himself. Even though we can do that, we still can screw up. So I do triple check my work, and even my triple check, my back test, put me in a bad position. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna dry the area off really good. I will put some sealant in that corner. There's another piece right there. Put some sealant in that corner and reinstall it in reverse order. And when I come back, we'll just inspect those spark plugs. I keep saying I'm going to do it, but I keep finding other stuff. But I need to check over myself when I put this stuff back together, make sure I don't screw up. So I'll come back when I do the main stuff, unless I find any other anomalies. Let's see about this side. I don't know about this side, but I'm going to take it off too. I'm going to take that off and inspect that. But it looks pretty good in this motor. It's got that nice golden brown color, like the engine was well maintained. And that's why that engine runs so smooth. You see some scoring here, like it probably ran low on oil in some past episodes. But it runs smooth though, it runs great. It's a Lexus, right? So I got a little bit of dab of sealant. I like to use black because it's a lot more flexible than the gray. Got my surface cleaned up a lot better. So we'll have a good sealing, good dry sealing surface. And I'm simply just gonna pop this right back on without getting any insulation between the valve cover and the gasket mating surface. So there we go. We'll do the same for the other side, and we will actually pull those plugs out. I keep saying I am, and I have not got to that yet. Let me finally pull out a spark plug and see what this looks like. I'm gonna run to this one in the back, since it's the worst one to get to. And let's get that one. Let's get this one. This one. I know some people probably work easy to hard. I try to work harder to easier. So look at this plug right here. This is what I was talking about. What does this say? It's an NGK. It's the BKR 5EK. It's an R? It's definitely not. I gotta look up this part number. But BKRs, I swear, are copper. I swear they are. Look how worn out that electrode is. And everybody had their personal perception on these double electrode, or I'm sorry, not electrode, but these are grounds, but dual tips or triple, you know, these fancy designs. I just beg to differ that they actually do any sort of enhancement, because I mean, if one of them fails, I mean, I would imagine it makes the spark a little indecisive. Wherever side is going to be less resistance is going to fire or favor more. So one side is just building up soot. How is it going to work more efficient when one side that's favored gets worn out to the point where the other side is so sooted up, the resistance is high and it's not even capable of arcing? So one tip is just going to be, it's going to be sufficient enough. Call me crazy. There's all that oil. Well, these are just bad looking plugs. So we got some regular NGK platinums, which is going to do very well for what purpose it's going to serve. Let's like this camera to stay steady. Got y'all suspended. I'm gonna get those installed. The throttle body gasket I'm not able to get today, so I'm gonna have to reuse this one. This gasket is $60 something just for this portion here. It's got a funky design. You just can't get the O-rings in there, the rubber portion. So it's not that hard to install. I'm not gonna have any issues taking the throttle body or the intake back off, or throttle body back off, and installing it. So let me get these plugs in here. Let's see what we gotta do with this wiring next. Spark plugs, the one I'm using. I got the Densos. These are double platinum spark plugs. I already got the last 5 installed, and these are just single. Got the single ground there, nothing special. So I got some of the loose ends taken off, some of them. I still got a lot more left from the installation. What I'm gonna do, I might have to repair some of this wire here, because if you look at this point, there's like oxidation here. Like the wire is degrading. It's got the purple, I said purple, it's got the green crust on there. And that's all as a result of being exposed. Yeah, see, like here, all that. I'm gonna have to replace all this section of wire that's going out to the coils. The bit that's inside the harness is going to be untouched, but everything from here on out, all this is going to have to be replaced. Now I can get away with this portion with the wire that I have. I do believe this right here, I can get away with. I can salvage this. And I can go as far as the wire that I have will allow me to go. Let me get those. Let's see here, S1415. Let me make sure they fit, because I have been known to make mistakes. And I don't want to put these on there and it not work. So let me get a coil. There's a coil here. So yeah, it works. We're good. I'm not going to use these butt connectors. I am a twist tie kind of guy. I might not have to replace all this wire. Yeah, I think I can go as far back as is damaged. Oh yeah, we'll be in good shape. Oh yeah, I think I'm fine. We don't have to replace all that. We can start where the wire is good, so we're fine. I'm just going to cut to length, match up with what we have. I am going to match the wires that are tied into the factory harness. So the top, looking at the connector, is going to be the brown and black. So the primary color is brown with the brown stripe, and the brown with the black stripe is going to be at the bottom. So I'm going to match them up that way. This is, since this one is connected, that's going to be my reference. So I'm going to start off with the easy one first. Cut this to length. I will have to go to the parts store and get some insulation. So you see, as I pull it off, there's more broken portions of it. To get some of the oil off. So as long as you wrap it and it stays within the insulation, you can easily, typically just bring over the new insulation, the heat shrink, and that'll be that. So we got it matched up. This is going to be our number one with our wire going to our number 2 coil, I want to say. So that's what's going to make it over there. And it's going to sit nice and neat inside of there once I heat it up. Let me get my lighter. That wire is a little smaller on one side than the other. Yeah, I'm going to use some wire tape to bind these two together, so it'll be like a double whammy when it comes to just security. I'm going to go around where I mended those wires together and then just loop those together to brace them. Unfortunately, the wire here is just a tad bit smaller and it's not making a really good connection, but it'll be secure once I brace those together. Good. And also be covered up with the insulation. So we'll be in good shape, and I'm just gonna run some fresh tape over this portion because it was not insulated. Let me get the rest of this knocked out and I'll show you the finished product. It's been like hours later. I wound up going to the part store and getting some smaller insulation that'll fit on this one, the thinner extremities, and I just got that kind of freestanding. I mean, it's fine. I could have left it bare, but I mean, it's just, something's better than nothing. And I got that a lot better. So it looks neat. I had to order the gasket from O'Reilly's. It's over $66. So that's going to be here tomorrow. But in the meantime, I'm just going to get everything installed in reverse order just so I can get it to start and make sure everything works. It don't take long to take that throttle body off. So I'll get that put on and pop that off tomorrow when a new gasket comes. Put that on there. So maybe I'll make like a YouTube short replacing the gasket, but who cares? It's just the gasket. It doesn't take that long. I talk too much too to be able to put everything or anything in 1 minute or 60 seconds. So let's get this throttle body back on and get everything hooked up and see if I turn the key, does it start up, or did I screw up something and I gotta take all that tape and insulation off and go back over it, because I screw up a lot, trust me. Now, mind you, I'm not going to put the bracket down there because of the gaskets coming tomorrow, and I just want to make it accessible so when I replace it. So we're just going to get it started up, see what it sounds like. I am going to put the cover back on this though, put the timing cover, and then we'll start up. You tell me I got something right. Start right on up. Amazing. I did see a vacuum line that was under there that was loose. So I mean, I don't know if that had any type of influence on how it idled. But we'll see. But it runs, and it runs smooth. I did not tighten up that hose clamp over there. It's got to come off again when I pull the throttle body off. So no big deal. I think we're good. That's the main thing. Yeah, we're good. That was the main thing. I just want to see if it'll start up and run fine after doing that wiring, because some of my first startups can be questionable. I do have some videos. I wish I could like take all my old videos and do a collage of my first startups. That would be pretty interesting. I digress. The the wire quality was extremely questionable. It was horrible. It didn't look good. It was just age. Not the first time, won't be the last time I probably deal with this. And I got another Lexus sitting out there right now, so we'll maybe make a video about that. It's a SC430 convertible in really good condition. I digress again. This car is running great. We got the oil cleaned up. Just got to wait on the intake manifold. I keep calling it intake manifold. The throttle body gasket tomorrow. Once they come in, pop it on there, do my thing. I'm glad I took the time out to pull that valve cover off on the left side and address that oil leak, which was going to come back and sure enough bite me in the ass. I don't have to worry about that, and I can sleep with a peace of mind. Spark plugs look horrible. They're updated, modernized. Wires look great. Connectors look great. And I'm pretty sure my how can I say? I don't want to say well, people probably don't do like the twist tie method. I do like that. And soldering just puts a hard spot in there, and it just creates some air. So, and the insulation is going to hold it. The heat shrink is definitely going to hold it. The wire tape is definitely going to brace it, and the insulator is going to protect it. So I think we're in good shape. So if anything happened, I'll definitely update. I don't think this is going to come back, but if it do, I think I got some credibility now as far as updating my videos. But hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, how to original some more work. See you on the next one.